So the first question, and I hardly want to ask it, but I think it has to be asked, is about the causes of the funding crisis. And why are we in this situation? And what's your solution to it? Why should we actually vote for you in a landscape of cuts?
Thank you, Mary. Firstly, I don't accept the criticism that it would be because of Tory cuts. It's quite simply a fact. There are many other Labour councils in London that have not declared bankruptcy. So there's something quite clearly wrong with Croydon Labour, because they have mismanaged funds, and it's quite obvious that brick by brick is one of the reasons. People who are ill qualified to make decisions about investments, they invested a lot of public money, 200 million. In fact, I mean, looking at the other library that was built a few roads away from the old library, I mean, that was partly built with brick by bricks developers. So the causes of the financial crisis and the bankruptcy we find ourselves in are because of Croydon Labour's mismanagement of funds, not because of Tory cuts. The fact.
Can you unmute yourself?
Sorry, I'm just unmuting myself. Sorry about that. So first, I just want to thank you for giving us this opportunity to speak with residents. I think it's so important that people have access to candidates and are able to question them. I think that's very healthy for democracy, so thank you. I think firstly, there's a bigger picture, and there's also secondly, a more localized picture. So the bigger picture is, it is a fact that Labour inherited £720 million of long-term debt from the Tory administration up until 2014. So half of this debt comes from the Tory administration in Croydon. But we've also had 76% of central government funding cuts in that time as well. For every £1 we used to get, we now get 25 pence. Also, Croydon is funded as an outer London borough. If we were a city, we would be the 12th biggest city in the UK. But as it stands right now, we are an outer London borough, and we get £25 million less a year than the lowest funded inner London borough in London. So we are chronically underfunded, and we are savagely cut. Also, the cost of COVID, there's been an expenditure shortfall. So COVID has cost the council £79.3 million. The government has given us 41.9 million back. So Croydon is short. We have been shortchanged £34 million. So to suggest that this has nothing to do with the Conservative government, frankly, I think is completely disingenuous. Now, I want to be genuine. I also think locally, and by the way, it's not just Croydon. We had Northamptonshire County Council, which was a Tory administration, gone in bust. Kent, Leeds, Manchester and Nottingham councils have also warned that they have to reduce staff and cut services unless the government steps in. So there's a much bigger picture here, and it's a chronic situation across the UK, instigated by the Tory government.
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's too easy to say there's one reason for the financial situation. Yes, the Labour administration have made mistakes. The Labour administration were left a large black hole by the previous administration. As far as central government funding goes, we're funded 20th out of 32 London boroughs. So Louis is quite right that we are chronically underfunded by central government. And of course, then there's COVID. But so we've got these problems, but it's just blaming one side or the other, probably not going to solve any problems.